Travel to planet Finbad to gain greater knowledge about. No, travel to planet Finbad to gain greater knowledge of the Grox race. You came to this planet to gain knowledge. That Grox up there hasn't. I can't remember my voice at all. Captain, why have you come? What could this desolate world provide you? I came here to ask you about the Great Treaty. That is a fine story, Captain. But one I think you may know well. But I will provide you with the story. I will not tell you the knowledge. Words can lie. Over to the side of me are several data files I brought from my homeworld. Not our. Corner, I guess. They will provide the answer you seek. Gee, thanks, bastard. Go to the Grox computers and research the Great Treaty and Grox history in general. Grox data files. Early spacefaring history. The Grox began as do most spacefaring species, naive and idiotic, but the Grox were different in one respect. They were weak. Every other empire in the galaxy possessed great strength and might. The Grox had none. As such, the Grox stayed to their homeworld of Agavise in the Cephalia system, where they plotted revenge. As time passed, Agavise degenerated into a lifeless T-Zero world as the Grox ran their planet into its destruction. Okay then. Go to the Grox computers and blah, blah, blah. Really? He didn't have to split it up into 3 acts. Grox data files. Journey to the core. As Agavise degenerated, most empires forgot the Grox and labeled the world as uninhabitable and ignored the Cephalia system entirely. But one day, a scout ship from the the scout ship landed on the planet and saw 8 Grox cities. As Grox's world began to degenerate, they rebuilt themselves so they would no longer require food and water and air. During this time, their weapon technology flourished. The Grox shot down the ship and interrogated the captain. He said something really powerful was at the core of the galaxy. The Grox immediately prepared a scout ship of their own. As the Grox scout ship reached the core, it found a strange spaceship that called itself Steve. Steve looked at the Grox and somehow instantly knew of the Grox's evil intent. Steve then created a staff known as the Staff of Life, and he used it mercilessly upon the Grox spaceship. Before the Grox spaceship was destroyed, a message was beamed to the Grox homeworld, and an armada of warships left to conquer the core. Steve held off the Grox warships with the staff until it soon neared its destruction. Steve deactivated the staff and watched as the Grox expanded their empire to 2,400 star systems. Oh boy. Seeds of Destruction. As the siege of the center. Blah 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 blah. Oh wow! As the siege of the center died down, the Grox empires knew that control of the core meant control of the galaxy, and at a latter extent, Spore himself. So the Grox made their defenses stronger and warships even more powerful, and began their raids upon the galaxy, picking the Glurbalon Empire as their first target. The Glurbalon fell quickly, but implemented a great technology. Siege ships filled to capacity with cellular lifeforms with the minds of voluntary captains and warriors. These siege ships sent their cells into worlds so that the perfect race could evolve. Their only mission was to become strong enough to destroy the Grox. Oh wow, this could explain the story. Not canonical, but, you know. The war continues. The Glurbalon siege ships worked perfectly. Soon millions of these species evolved, some as warriors, others as diplomats. But all hated the Grox. How? An unknown captain took control of the war, fighting with the great Namadlas. General Vasquez. Sorry. These two led the fight on Grox colonies and almost reached the core. But the two's success soon faltered. The two were captured on an infiltration mission into a destroyed Dalina colony. But the captain was allowed freedom, as the commander of the captured outpost, Governor Typin, deemed him worthy. The treaty is laid out. Back on the Grox worlds, the public grew wary of the fruitless Spore. Typin agreed with the public and despised the current military dictatorship. Typhon agreed to open negotiations. Typhon agreed to open negotiations without the dictatorship knowing, and a small galactic senate meeting was held. The Grox military, however, attempted to stop the negotiations, but Typhon was able to keep them at bay until the meeting ended. During this time, the unknown captain got more support for the peace treaty, and less than an hour later, the Great Treaty was signed unanimously. Aftermath. As the Great Treaty was passed, the Grox ended all current wars and allowed open borders to allow anyone access to the core and Steve. The Staff of Life was used to create life when necessary, and Steve granted the Grox the ability to thrive on habitable planets and uninhabitable ones. However, the Grox's military dictators were not given these abilities, and they were exiled to the galaxy system, while Knights have kept the system under extreme lockdown. But for several years, peace has flourished between the Grox and the galaxy at large. Oh, wow. Okay, then. What mission did I just go? This is only the first of the Grox Resurgence series. This was mainly a placeholder to provide the player backstory. The other adventures will be better. Simple. Okay, I get it. Don't necessarily care for it. Yeah, going back home so I can actually recharge and refuel and everything else. No, because I'm a beer. No. There we go, that's how it was before. Huh. Those guys expanded. Let's say hello to them. Hey, hey! Buy my shit! Oh, sweet. These guys are pretty creative. Hark! From the very periphery of the Hubble, our noble hero from afar returns. How goes it? Do tell. Soon all of Algex shall be abuzz with stories of your exploits among the stars! Oh. This is a good one. But beams down to planet Daminaka and get paid for it? Give up. You! Interested? Money, songs, and dancing when you return. Yay! Party owl. Fuck, party animal. No. I have nothing against party animals. Must claim treasure! Well, fuck. There we go. Thank you, my servants. Mine. Ow. Okay, hopefully this is a good one. Castle defense. Is there a better way to recapture the glory of medieval times than with a mindless game? We think not! Come, Captain, and find out if you can defend your castle. Okay, I'll read this in a different way. Is there a better way to recapture the glory of medieval times than with a mindless game? We think not! Come, Captain, and find out if you can defend your castle against the dreaded mechanical Blue Knights. Oh boy. If you are Irish or you get offended by that, accent of mine, just tell me. Please. I don't necessarily like offending anyone. I mean, granted it's a joke, but, you know, just tell me, and I'll try to tone it down a bit. Of course, it doesn't necessarily work considering the fact that my accent is a mix between almost every single accent I know of. Well, besides anything from the Asiatic regions. My accent is always going to be a mix of some sort of European accents. German, French, English, Welsh, Scottish, Irish, Norwegian, Swedish. Definitely not Finnish, though. Definitely a little bit of Russian. Oh boy. Oh God!